my heart, touch my soul. She's my life and all my goals.
I just don't understand your obsession with him, to be honest.
He's got a cracking voice, mate. A cracking voice.
The lyrics don't even make sense.
Come on.
Oh, how's it going, alright? This is the What's Occurin podcast with Cal and Chuck. So if you like jams on the ash, making an omelette, or a cheeky finger, then crack on. If not, back off. Tidy.
Right, here we are in a car.
We're in the Micro.
We're in the Micro. Couldn't find a Citroen Saxo.
I did look on Auto Trader actually, and they were going for about, I think Gavin and Stacey
Couldn't have been going for much.
they didn't inflate the price to show. I think.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, 100%.
Saxo sales went rocketing.
Yeah.
So we're in a car, and the reason why is we're kind of recreating the scene. Bryn should be in the back. He's not. But
We did. Can we just say we did actually want to get a cardboard cutout?
Yeah.
Just peering over my shoulder.
But essentially, you are Gavin and I'm Mick, and we're on the hunt for Smithy. So we usually start off with a drink, don't we, mate?
Yeah.
But for this episode, we can't be drinking. We're in a car.
I can't drink.
I could have had a beer, I guess.
You could have, but I definitely couldn't.
Instead, we're going to just go through a drive-thru.
Yeah, we're going to go to...
Like they do in Series 2, Episode 2, eh?
Yeah, we're going to go to one of the popular fast food chains to get a bite to eat and hopefully try and find Smithy. And very excitingly, actually, as well, later on in the journey, we will be picking up this week's Superfan.
We will.
Yeah.
Should be getting in the car.
Yeah.
Before we get going, though, subscribe and also review the podcast. We had a few inventive ones, didn't we, in the last series?
Really inventive
Let's bring
ones.
them back.
Yeah.
So yeah, do review the podcast at What's Occurin Pod on Twitter and Insta, and of course, hello if you're watching on YouTube. We are available on YouTube. What's Occurin Podcast as well. Pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
Should we get on with it, mate?
Yeah, let's get on with it.
So, firstly, before we start, I think it's fair to say Series 2, Episode 2 is an absolute belter.
Hands down, one of the best episodes.
I think it's one of my favourite ones
I was
as well.
watching it and I completely forgot how funny it was.
I had the exact same
Yeah.
thing. There's just so many amazing scenes in it.
Oh, girls, is there any alcohol at Bailey's?
So it is important to note for the podcast listeners, obviously we're in the Nissan Micro, I'm at the wheel, Chuck's in the passenger seat. So
Right.
Chuck will be trying to kind of sort of steer the conversation, so you will.
So I will. You'll be steering the car, I'll be steering the conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus
Love
Christ.
it.
One of my favourite lines from the episode is when Pam is talking about her concept behind children ending up being gay, and she says the line, don't get on with the mother, lesbian gay, don't get on with the father, gay, and that is just literally like my mum trying to explain why like a friend has turned out to be gay, and it's just classic Pam. It's classic Pam. It makes zero sense.
No, I think it's more shocking for the fact that Gwen obviously comes out and says it, and you think Gwen to be sort of quite a level-headed person, but then she comes out with this completely unlogistical comment.
Gwen's our character analysis today, and it took quite a bit of research into her this week. And I tell you what, she does come out with some bits of filth now and again. And like when they start questioning Gavin about their love life and stuff like that, and they just so open about it, they don't really care. Whereas Pam is a bit more embarrassed by it. However, another one of the greatest sights of this episode has to be Smithy's nipples on the driving range.
Oh, and his fat bulges over his jeans when he's hit that driver. Actually, I have to say, it was a cracking shot. He absolutely
It's a
whipped
low
that
fizz
one. A
3
low
iron,
fizz, about
I reckon.
250 yards, I reckon.
So,
Yeah.
in the outtakes and the sort of behind-the-scenes footage of this episode, they say that the night that was filmed, it was freezing cold, and he's actually got about 4 layers of plasters over his nipples,
Really?
and they still come through his shirt. It's just really, really freezing. And there was a cow that kept him mooing as they had to shoot that scene about 5 times, and they're all just freezing their nuts off. But another...
Oh, go on, mate! Sorry.
The proposal is also hilarious. It's classic naive Smithy, just completely misreads the situation.
You told me to
doesn't
do
he?
the right thing.
Yeah, you said it was easy because you're married. I don't want to marry that. It's classic, and I just love it.
You look like you should be Amsterdam, fiddling with Mars bars.
You look like you should be in Amsterdam doing tricks. I was thinking, do you think that's actually a thing? Like, is there people doing
Well,
tricks?
I think
Could you tweet us in? If you've been to Amsterdam? I've been to Amsterdam. I went there for a week. Fuck knows why. You don't need to do a week there. But didn't see anyone doing trips to Mars
I went
bars.
with my girlfriend, so my experience was slightly different. But I think it stems
Probably
from
was
the
a little
whole.
bit different to mine.
I think it stems from the whole ping pong shows sort of thing.
Okay.
People putting interesting foreign objects up there.
I get you.
Yeah.
Another great line, and I'll go into a bit more detail about this in this episode, but I think this is just a great Smithy episode. I think he's in absolute fan, and really good acting from James Corden. But one of my favourite lines as well. I keep saying one of my favourite lines. I just love it all. He says. Lucy's still at the gymkhana, and then I thought she's grounded. Doesn't apply to horse-based events. That just cracks me up. And of course, she's grounded because her mum found 10 B&H in her bag.
It's the most ludicrous thing. I think this episode has so many golden moments, but for me, the best moment by far is when they're in the car, and I can pull this out as one of the funniest Bryn moments in the whole series. Bryn's in the back and he's like, reminds me of me being in America, or makes me feel like I'm in America. And he does that awful American accent. He goes, fill the fish. That's for the wife.
Still no sign of Smithy, you know what I'm saying?
And even Gavin and Mick, who are really serious
they get him.
They just laugh and look at each other and have those great moments between them.
I also like Bryn clapping at Smithy's speech after he has that sort of tender moment with Nessa.
They'd come home after a morning's work, Judy be straight on the whiskey, and me and Rich, we'd make love, sometimes for whole Sundays.
So I want to just revisit it, like I said, but Smithy's acting ability in this episode is just sensational. It's so diverse, and I think it's easy to forget that this is his first real serious role on TV. He was in Fat Friends for 4 series, which is where, of course, he met Alison Steadman and Ruth Jones, but he was only really in cameos, Little Britain and so on, and this is his first real stab at acting in a TV role that's a big role and a main kind of role. And in this episode, he's funny, he's emotional, he's sad, he does the whole array of... I just think he displays such an array of acting ability.
100%.
I really, really like James Corden and Smithy in this episode.
But we're saying how emotive he is in this episode. It really comes back down to earth, like that season 1 character of Smithy, being very jokey. When I can't remember who the conversation's between, but someone says
it's Pam. So he says about the gymkhana, and then Pam goes, "That girl never stops." And then he
goes, "Yeah, she'll soon stop when I tell her I'm the father of
she'll
someone
stop
else's
tonight.
child."
Yeah, it's classic.
Oh, that is quality.
It's interesting you say that, though. I listened to an interview between James Corden and Ruth Jones recently, and they're talking about it, and it's funny that the one thing they really focus on is injecting bits of comedy even in the most serious moments, and I've really started to notice it now, that those like really, really serious moments still have a bit of humour in them. Like even when Gavin, like for example, I was watching an episode from series 3, Gavin's having a chat with Mick about not being able to have kids, and Mick then says at the end, makes a joke about Pam not needing to be a grandma, and it's just like a really serious chat that still has a moment of comedy, talking about not being able to have a child.
Yeah, because it's quite an upsetting conversation to have with your kids, you know.
Yeah, and then of course we have the infamous morning, the morning after, where Gavin and Stacey decide to go at it.
Oh, they don't just go at it; they go at it
like a dog to a bone, and it's just very, very noisy and very awkward as well. And it's my favourite bit about it is
them putting on the music.
Yeah, Pam's and then Mick going, "No, I've heard it's going to rain hard."
It's just comedic writing at its finest. It really is.
Look, just forget it. I'll stay with the distance.
Then obviously another great Smithy moment is at the breakfast table the morning after, and he's claims not to have much of an appetite, still manages bacon, sausage and egg.
He puts it away.
I had that this weekend, and I tell you what, I was absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, I know. Sets you up, doesn't it?
And of course, Bryn's famous peanut butter jelly.
Honestly, that American accent is honestly one of the worst things. And Rob Brydon,
when he says jelly,
he means jam.
Well, since when did he have a pen friend in America as well? But again, like with all the characters, it just makes sense, doesn't it?
It's Bryn.
It doesn't shock you that Bryn's got a pen friend in America. Finally, for this episode analysis, I just wanted to bring up a little theory that I've had. There's something going on between Mick and Nessa.
Yeah, you've been very focused on this theory for a
Nessa's
long while.
got a fantasy about Mick for sure. So, in the first series, Nessa says a line to Mick about liking a ride. He goes, "You know me, I likes a ride." Then in this episode, she literally gives him a massive snog right at the end, saying goodbye to him. Pam's not too happy about it. And then also, in the third series, there's a couple of them. There's where they swap shirts when they're off absolutely smashed. And then also, Mick gets his shirt off at the beach, and Nessa goes, "Oh, you've been working out, have you?"
Oh yeah, she like puts down her glasses, doesn't she?
It's just, I don't know what I want to know whether I googled it. No one on Twitter has written about this at all.
You need to get this going. You need to make this viral.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to grips with what it might be. Like whether
I reckon it is. I tell you what it is. Mick, he's not a bad-looking older bloke. And you know Nessa, she kind of portrays herself this kind of man-eater.
She's had a thing with John Prescott. Had a thing. Yeah, it's kind of like another one of her fantasies.
Alluding to it.
So maybe all these sexual encounters she had aren't actually true. Who knows?
Yeah.
Finally, as well though, we've mentioned this a lot. Incredible Bryn episode, and nothing better than him being blown away by a 26-minute power shower.
I can't remember the last time I genuinely in the morning would have a 26-minute long shower. So
Nick, is that what you would call a power shower?
I can't bear being touched from the waist up, including my chest. Waist down, I'm fine. If anything, I love sex, but waist up just makes me nauseous.
Oh, here we are. What, this right here?
No.
Shit. Mate, I didn't...
Yeah, sorry. No, that's a no entry.
Yeah. Looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't notice. Well, we nearly crashed there. Before we move on to this week's segment, we are, in fact, at McDonald's Drive-Thru. There we go.
Aren't we?
Other drive-thrus are available, just right in here. I'll tell you what, mate, I fancy...
I see a few Vauxhall Corsas parked up.
Tell you what I fancy, a fillet of fish.
Fillet of fish. That's what I want.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, that's what he says.
I never realised that.
He repeats himself.
I've already spoken to Noel. He said, wherever I go, whatever I do, he's gonna be there.
Oh, no. I had fish yesterday.
Oh, it's funny. I had tuna sandwich for lunch. Isn't that weird? Do you want to just share this one?
No, get me my fillet of fish now. Fucking hell.
Well, actually, alright.
Yeah? I can't imagine it's got one.
It's almost like fish and chips, but
in a bun. A fish butty.
Right. While we're tucking him, let's get on with this week's email segment, inspired by Bryn, and his power shower, and his obsession with his sat-nav, and the fact that he can't go over YouTube, and just his general adoration for the small things in life, eh? So we want to know, we asked you, at What's Occurin Pod, on Twitter,
the best Twitter page online,
what technological advancements do you think Bryn has got excited about since the programme ended 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And lots of you have been getting in touch. What do you think, Cal?
So, I saw all the suggestions come in and everyone was kind of saying the same old things. But one of the most interesting suggestions I thought that wasn't mentioned was an Apple Watch.
An Apple Watch?
Okay, so the only reason I'm going to say this is it's got all your amenities in one, and Bryn is a man of convenience, isn't he? That's all I'm going to say.
I think
you'd be
he
blown away.
purchased an Apple Watch.
100%.
I'm just imagining Bryn going through the full repertoire of Snapchat filters.
Yeah, the dog one, I reckon.
Yeah, 100%. He'd be all over Snapchat filters. He'd be obsessed with self-service checkouts, for sure. 100%.
And I don't think he'd ever get annoyed with them.
No.
You know how we always get annoyed with them? I think he'd be just really happy to be taking part. I think that'd be the main thing.
Oh, I've just got tartar sauce on your laptop.
Oh, you haven't.
It's only a tiny bit, mate. Hold up. We'll continue with the email segment imminently. And they haven't given us any fucking napkins. I'm sorry.
You're so messy.
I want you to know there's many an Englishman that proposed to me, and only one I've ever said yes to.
Fleur on Twitter, she says contactless. I can imagine him in Morrison's. using Apple Pay and just being revolutionised by Apple Pay. The whole
contactless thing is really aggravating me because I work in a pub, and the amount of older people I have pay with contactless and go, clever, innit?
Yeah.
And I just look at them and go,
no, I don't work in a cafe. You just get some knob who's got an Apple Watch and he just go, oh yeah.
He winks at you.
Chloe says a Fitbit watch to use in his home gym, kind of similar
Apple
to what
Watch,
you said.
yeah.
Harrison with one of my absolute favourites. He says definitely Netflix, which I can see. Jesus, my Fanta's nearly just gone everywhere.
No.
We're not having much luck here.
Oh no.
That's all good. Right, that wasn't too much. The podcast goes on.
Hashtag pod goes rogue.
Harrison says definitely Netflix. And he's even given us a quote. He says, so I can watch what I want, when I want, and I don't have to wait until next week to watch the next episode. Well, shoot me down. I've heard everything. That is classic.
That is quality.
Dan says Brexit. Do you think he's a Leave or a Remainer?
Bryn, 100% he's Remain.
I reckon he didn't vote, he couldn't vote, and he just got confused about the whole thing, and he probably wants a second referendum.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's staunch Remain.
Megan also on Twitter, given how he used to talk to his sat-nav, she imagines his response to an Alexa could be quite amusing.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. Alexa, what is the weather like in Barry tomorrow?
Thank you, Alexa.
George says parking sensors or self-driven cars. Very much so.
He'd really be mind-boggled by
Although
Tesla.
I think he'd still have his Picasso though. Josh says Deliveroo also on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a shout. I saw that. That's a good shout, Josh.
Absolutely. And there we go. That is this week's email segment. Thank you very much for getting in touch at What's Current Pod on Twitter. Without further ado, let's move on to this week's character analysis.
Oh, it is from the one and only...
And we're joined by Miss Gwen West in the car. Straight over there, fella, please. So,
Tony,
Gwen.
right or left here in this road?
Left here, please, sir. Left here. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's been quite a shaky journey so far, isn't it?
God.
So,
All
Gwen
the
West,
played
by Miss Melanie Waters, a.k.a. Stacey's
Sorry, Chuck,
mum.
before you continue, do you reckon I'll be alright to eat my apple pie? Do you reckon it'll be a bit hot?
Just watch out. It is quite hot.
Oh, okay.
Right here. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
wait. Whoa.
What?
Right there. Oh, Jesus, sorry.
It's fine. He's the worst backseat driver. Oh my word.
You can eat your fucking apple pie.
Jesus Christ. I've never met someone who's so shook.
I don't know what it comes. I don't know what comes over me.
Yeah,
in a
you
car.
do. You actually do are quite bad with it.
I'd rather just drive. Like I feel more comfortable driving.
You're a control freak. That's why.
Oh fuck off. Right, Gwen West, aka Melanie Waters, shout out, aka Stacey's mum, has got it going on.
She does have it going on.
So widow to Trevor, God rest his soul. Always getting ran over by Nessa. That's what I've written down here, and I agree. There's the episode where Gwen's got loads of plans, and Nessa says, "What are you doing tonight?" And she just has to drop all her plans to look after Neil the baby. Is classic Gwen.
That is so peak. I'm so sorry for her.
One of my favourite Gwen moments is quite tender at the end, where Nessa really does show her appreciation towards her though, and says, "I'd be lost, truth be told," and that's a really, really emotive
touching,
moment.
isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. But other than that, apart from Gwen's omelettes, not that big a character really. Bit of a side character, but I do like her little cheeky one-liners. She does have the potential to be a bit filthy, and I've written one here. This is in the very, very first episode. Gwen says to Stacey, "You don't know anything about this Gavin. For all you know, he might be a paedophile." Then Stacey replies, "Well, he wouldn't be interested in me then, would he?" And then Gwen replies, "You never know these days, love. He might be grooming you." It's great. And also her intense hatred for the one and only Jean.
Oh yeah, that hatred for Jean, I've always thought was very out of character for Gwen. Do you know what I mean?
Completely out of character.
She's a very nice
She
woman.
refers to a pair of scissors involved in their dispute, which I don't really understand. But yeah, they all hate Jean.
Can we hear your Jean and Gwen theories on Twitter, please? We want to know, what do you think went on between the two of them to make them detest each other so much? Because obviously, in the barn dance, she clocks Jean from a mile off.
And they all hate Jean, and Prince just invited her to Boo's number. Anyway, should we get on with Gwen's top 3 moments? Top 4 moments, actually. And it's fairly tight. There's a clear winner, though. So, in 4th place, with 13% of the public vote, is when she bought Pam a Christmas present, which was indeed a vegetarian cookbook. I think I voted for that. I thought that was great. You've been mugged off, Gwen. In third place with 18% of the vote, Nessa calling her mum, that tender moment at the end, very nice.
Yeah.
And second place, her hatred of James Blunt.
I don't know. I liked this moment, but I didn't love it. It kind of like annoyed me a bit.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
know?
But of course, top, not so much a moment, but just her general ability in making, of course, the one and only omelette. And my brother just said an interesting thing to me just now, actually. What we should do is we should try and calculate how many omelettes she makes throughout the whole 3 series.
I reckon someone out there
What's
could
your
do
guess?
that for us. Each season's 6 or 7 episodes. I'm going 10 a season, 30.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What about you?
I don't know. Should we work it out for next week's episode?
I reckon we should.
I'm going to go 45. That'd be my guess.
45.
Yeah, but I don't know how much you see on screen and
Close
so
to
on and
half
so
century.
forth. There we go. That wraps up our character analysis of this week. Should we go and pick up our superfan?
Yeah, we actually are just outside our house.
He was a cracking bloke, Jared, but he was in all sorts of trouble with the tax man, and he died whilst faking his own death.
Right, we now move on to this week's superfan segment, as we've got our superfan in the back of the car, and it is none other than the voice of What's Occurring podcast.
Yeah, very exciting.
Also, my bloody sister.
I know.
And possibly one of the best Nesta impressions on the planet. It's Izzy Adolphi. How are we doing?
Alright, how's it going? Alright.
So it is. Give us your favourite GNS moment to kick us off. Let's do it.
I would have to say the curry scene.
The curry scene.
Yeah.
I feel like curry scene is quite run of the mill.
I feel like curry scene is for your Gavin and Stacey fan who claims to be a big Gavin and Stacey fan, but isn't really. And I know Izzy's not that, so I think you're better than that.
I know exactly what you're saying, Chuck, and I think you've got more in your locker. Can you give us a niche moment?
Okay, niche moment.
Come on, I'm talking where Tushi now or some shit like that.
That's still.
Oh,
Sit
I want
forward,
niche.
Neville.
I want niche.
Nisha. What's Nisha?
We want something specific.
Very specific. Oh. I love it when
I like the sound like giggle. It's good.
when Nessa's in the shower. No, isn't it Nessa's in the bath and Stacey's in the shower?
That's cracking.
Will you do my back?
Oh yeah.
My favourite line she does.
Oh,
yeah,
I love
come on.
it.
You know it?
I said, Kate Adie, you're the face now, I'm the brains, now get on with it. Honestly, classic. I remember when you once came home and you were like, Izzy, I was like, what? You were like, Kate Adie is now the treasurer of my uni. I was like, what? You need to get
I looked up, so me and Callum both went to Bournemouth Uni, and I looked up the honorary chancellor of Bournemouth University is Kate Adie.
What, she's called Kate Adie or
No, it's
the actual Kate Adie.
Oh my god.
Doesn't get much better than that.
What the hell?
Honestly.
That's unbelievable. That is sensational.
Honestly, he was so happy about it. I think he rang me
I
twice
think I did
as
call
well.
you up. Right, so I don't know if Izzy's listened to this podcast before or not. However, we do a thing each week to prove you're the best superfan. We've got a ranking system going on at the moment.
Okay.
So Patrick got 8 out of 10 last week.
Yeah.
Now 8 out of a possible 15 because there's 5. There's
only
potential 5 bonus points.
Yeah, okay, of course.
So basically, how it works is we're going to give you 30 seconds to do a little speech about why you're potentially the biggest Gavin and Stacey fan. So in the first season we had Kira, she did her Welsh accent, said how she wanted to marry Bryn. We had Patrick telling us about wrapping Christmas presents in tinfoil last week.
I think what was great about Kira's is the fact that it came out of the blue.
There we go. We weren't expecting it. So
at
you're
all.
going to have 30 seconds, then me and Callum are going to rank you out of 5. And then added to that will be your quiz out of 5, and if you beat me in the quiz, we'll then double your total score.
Okay.
So there's a potential 20 points. We're really shit at explaining this. It's of the total score.
You're right.
So
yeah.
there we go. Patrick didn't manage to beat me last week. He got an 8 out of a possible 10.
What's your highest score?
My highest score.
Who makes the questions?
Callum makes the
I write
questions.
the questions
he asks
about
them.
every episode.
He is the quiz master.
Okay, fine.
And they are niche. Like, this episode, I think because it is so great, we all know a lot about it. So I found it very hard to find very, very niche questions, but I've still found some good ones.
Prepared to be offended by Callum's question making
thank
ability.
you.
Anyway,
sorry.
Your 30-second pitch begins in 3, 2, 1. Take it away.
First point is, Peter Hackapia Perriere and I sling your record, I'll break your face.
Good.
Classic. Second one is, Charlie, I think you can vouch for me here, that every Christmas day around our house is a remake of the Christmas special.
Halfway.
Can you have a portion of carrots at Christmas Day without saying, Nick, these carrots are an art to try on? And also, I have received a pair of Sondico goalie gloves
I've seen the
for
video.
Christmas.
There we go.
From my brother.
Pretty solid.
That is
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thank
Pretty
you.
solid.
And good night.
That was clear cut.
That was clear
That
cut.
was really clear
No,
cut.
thank
You
you.
got to the
I'm
point.
I'm surprised.
And I'm going to throw this in there. I'm giving that 5.
Just give it a
Oh my
5.
god.
I'm giving it 5. Do you know why?
Holy crap.
Because she knew what she was going
I
at
know.
with
Well,
every
I
single
was
point.
gonna, I was
There
gonna,
no waffle.
I think it was potentially better than last week. So
100%.
You know what? I'm gonna give it a 5. as
Yeah,
well.
well,
so you're 5 out of 5.
I think that's...
There we go.
Okay, so it's now time for the superfan section. We've pulled over because I can't read my questions.
Is
whilst
this a
I'm
dogger's
driving.
car park?
By the way, I also want to say, I feel like this is more competitive than it's ever been because we're related.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there's sibling rivalry at stake. So
This is pretty cute. I didn't actually really think about it.
yeah. So no looking over my shoulder because
Never.
I'm in front of you.
I
yeah?
would never do that.
If you catch her cheating, then tell us. Okay.
Tell you what, she does cheat when we play games at Christmas.
No, I
Quizzes.
don't.
She
No,
does.
let's not bring it up because it makes me irate, to be honest.
Okay. So the way this works, Izzy, there is 10 questions in total. You get 5 questions each, and there is a tie break if it is a tie.
Okay, fine.
Now the tie break question is always really fucking niche, and it's always really hard to get. Okay.
Okay,
It's
fine.
always a
Just
kind
get
of
on with
closest
it.
to the pin sort of scenario.
So you're
Okay.
5 out of 5 though. So if you beat me, you're still on for the full 20.
Yeah.
Which would be
If you get the full 20.
box seat for
I'll
first
be
prize
beside
at the end of the
myself.
series.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Okay. Right.
get on with it.
Question number 1. Oh wait, need to decide who's going
Oh,
first.
we haven't tossed the fucking coin, have we?
Yeah.
Have you got a coin?
No, I can do this.
Wait, we made a makeshift coin.
No,
last
I'll
week.
do this. Guess the hand.
All right, we'll do a guess the hand. Job.
Okay, so there's a piece of paper
Guess the
going
hand,
into
John.
my hand.
Jesus.
Oh my god. I'm going left.
You don't have to look.
I'm not looking. I literally can't
Okay,
see.
ladies first.
Left.
Left or right?
Left.
My left or your left?
Your left.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it's Chuck.
Oh, I'll go 1 again.
You're going first, okay?
Put them under the cosh.
Under the cosh. Right. So name one occasion where Gav has met Lucy.
Oh my god, I know the answer.
You're not allowed to say the answer, and it can't overturn.
Oh my god, I know the answer. Yes, it should overturn.
At the brownies, she was washing cars.
Damn it!
Yeah, correct.
Oh my god,
Right
that's
now.
so annoying.
So, first question for you, Izzy. When Pam was making drinks for the girls,
Yeah.
what did she fix Gwen with?
She fixed. Oh my god. Pam had a brandy. Gwen had a. Oh my god, who had a shandy? No, Stacey had a shandy.
She didn't.
No,
Yeah, she
Shirley
did.
Bass
She
completely
didn't.
different.
Did she not?
No.
Oh my god.
don't matter.
Port! She had a glass of port.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Gwen had a port, yeah.
Yes!
It's 1-1. This is big. This is big. Okay. Chuck,
Yeah, I'm not feeling confident.
what is the significance of the first drive-through lady? The first person they pull up to in the drive-through. What is her significance to the show / everything?
Oh my god, I'm very anxious.
Do you know this one?
I don't know.
Hang on. Well,
What do you mean by
no,
significant?
Well, I know what you mean just by the phrasing of that question, but I didn't think James Corden's sister was in this episode. I thought that was a different one.
Okay, so I'm going to say that question again. What is the significance of the drive-through lady?
Well, it's Rudy, Smithy's sister.
No, the
Smithy's-
first
No,
lady.
the first lady.
All right, that is James Corden's sister, the actress.
It's his actual sister, correct? Yes.
Thank you.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, no,
and,
you
her,
didn't.
and her name's actually Rudy as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they look so similar if you
Yeah.
clock it. Okay. Name one other occasion where Smithy went to the driving range. There's 2.
Oh, when Pam called him fat.
Can I get kind of...
No, when Pam said to go on a diet, told us to go on a diet.
Correct.
Yeah, and when West Ham lost the playoff.
Yeah, that was it, but I can't remember football.
Yeah, fair enough. No, you're doing well, guys. Two out of two each. Chuck, question number 3 for you. You are shitting yourself. Which member of the distance was Ness closest to?
Oh my god, I know it.
I'm pretty sure it's Noel, isn't it?
Is that your final answer?
Oh, I hate it when you say it's that final
Oh,
answer.
I
me too, it gives me motion.
I'm going to go Noel.
Noel is correct.
Noel from here.
3-2.
The small one.
Izzy, what was Nessa's previous English fiancé called?
Jared.
Correct.
He died while faking his own death.
It's the worst way to go, Pam.
Worst way to go, Pam.
This is ridiculous.
He was a lovely man. In trouble with the tax man.
Right, we've been speaking about this a lot.
Oh my god, Dave, I'm actually...
Whose go is it? Yours?
Yeah.
3 out of 3 each.
Chuck, what is Britain's American pen pal called?
Oh my god, we spoke about this and I forgot when we spoke about it.
We didn't actually say his name because otherwise I would have gone, oh, awkward.
I think I can remember it. Actually, no, I
He
don't.
says jelly, he means... I've forgotten.
Oh my god.
Do you know it?
No, I can't remember.
No.
I've got a pen friend.
No, don't piss me off.
You've got 20 seconds.
Is it Tony?
Is that your final
Yeah.
answer? Yeah.
Yeah!
How did you remember
I don't know where that came from.
Did you look at the answers?
He's got
We've
his
got no
name.
internet. We're in a bloody doggers car park.
Well, you're...
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
how have I got that? I pulled that out of my
Tell you what,
arsehole.
it's Gerard. Right, Izzy.
Yeah.
How many weeks was it until Nessa's scan?
32 weeks.
Until Nessa's scan.
Oh, next week. It was the scan next week.
Incorrect.
I go for the scan in 2 weeks. Damn
it!
Is that question number 4 or 5? No, that was 4, wasn't it? So I'm 4 out of 4. And you're
Oh my god, are you
3 out of 4.
joking? I go for a
4-3
tan in
to
2
Chuck.
weeks.
Going in to the final.
No, I'm
question.
so angry. I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay, well,
It's a 3 door, you can't get out.
make sure that bit's facing
I'm
you.
sorry.
Okay.
Oh my god, no, I'm so angry. That was so... I should have stopped and thought about
Your
it.
final
And I
question.
got Tony, match play situation. That's why you choose to go first. Anyway, sorry.
ABBA penalties.
I've still got to get this though.
What?
Make it niche.
Okay.
He's got the question written down.
Oh, yes.
What does Nessa ask Gav for before they head back to Barry?
Ah, easy. A leg up on the
That is-
lorry. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, don't. That is the
5 out
easiest
of 5.
question
Okay,
in the world.
Izzy, you can level yourself with Patrick from last week in the super fan table. By the end of the series, could still mean something. 2 episodes out of 7 done. So
No,
you
don't.
need
I'm
this
really
question.
You need to get this question right.
Okay, fine.
To tie first
Yeah.
place.
What was the animal amongst Stacey's belongings?
Giraffe.
Yeah.
Correct. That was a quite easy question.
There we go.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to know what the tiebreak was?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, we'll do it.
What year
Tony.
was Gavin's Spurs shirt from? It would be closest to the pin.
Tell you what,
It's a great
Did
question.
they say it
Oh,
out
what?
loud?
No, they
The
didn't.
Then
one
I'm
he's-
definitely not going to know that.
Oh, what? You've just looked that
I've
up?
looked it up.
Oh my god.
Okay, it's
Grow up,
That's
Callum.
why it's a
The
close.
Grow up.
sponsorship. It would have been harsh on Izzy because I would have got 2006.
No,
Oh,
7, 8.
You wanker.
But it's close. That's close.
I would actually like a recount because I'm really
So,
upset.
Tony, what an answer.
congratulations!
Cheers,
You
pal.
are yet again undefeated.
No, I did. I'm sorry. I did quite well, I thought.
Right. That
Before we
is-
go, we need some predictions, Izzy, for the Xmas special.
Yeah.
Oh, don't, because I'm actually very apprehensive about it.
Are you
Because
nervous?
I am. Because what if it's not as
Or-
amazing as all the other
I
stuff?
saw this on Twitter the other day, though.
Yeah.
What if it's absolute dynamite? The ratings hit through the roof.
Oh my god.
They offer Corden and Jones a shit ton of cash that they just can't refuse.
Oh, don't.
And Series 4 is Among Us.
No, I couldn't cope.
No,
to be honest.
I just don't.
That would be
I
too
just
much.
can't
I
see
don't
that
think that. I can't see that
Oh my
happening.
Christ.
I think they're too
Oh my God.
stubborn about it because they put it off for so long and big amounts of money would have been thrown at them about it.
Indeed.
Definitely.
100%.
But also, I think it means a lot to them as well. Like, they went
Yeah,
through a lot
exactly.
filming it. Alright, if you like this podcast as much as I do, then don't forget to subscribe to YouTube and Apple Podcast.
Love it.
And don't forget to send a review.
The YouTube.
I want you, the YouTube. www.
Whiskey with water.
Thank you very much for listening, guys.
That has been episode 2. We'll be back next week. Follow us on Twitter as well, at What's Occurring Pod. Same as that on Instagram. Lots of content out there throughout the week.
The question, where are you now? Gotta ask yourself the question, where are you now?